Hello everyone, and welcome to the Biggening Corporation. We are on episode 40, which is a little bit bananas. At about an hour to an hour and a half per episode, we are only a week and a half into this. So if I just took a couple weeks off from start to finish and just worked on this nonstop, I would be insane. But we would also be at about the same point. Speaking of insane, permission management. I have not had to do much with this. There is a dire need to clean this up. Trying to edit these XML files in a useful fashion, there has to be some secret tool out there in the world. I finally figured out how to modify the data set so I could pop it open in Excel, work with it in Excel, filter, do all sorts of things, change it all. And when I managed to transform it roughly back, do the way that Excel saves the XML files, it doesn't recognize it as a valid file format. Yeah. Not okay. I may make it something that we we might build an Angular tool for this or something, because this won't do. So let's swing around back to, since we're not going to make any headway today on player permissions. I've spent the last hour and a half trying to make that happen for today, and no, not going to happen. Minimum viable product objectives. Locations is our next stop. Now at the moment we only have basic locations, so we have somewhat of an easy step here in that we don't need to do a whole lot with it. But we also have constraints in place. We've already tested that to some extent, and I think the only constraints that I needed was the page controls, but could be wrong. So the only constraints that were really needed for the locations was the maximums, which I think, if I remember right, yep. We set that up somewhere in our location settings under game setup. So it is already something that we can control at a macro level and update at a macro level. So that's nice and easy. So yeah, we just need to think about location buying. I'm so used to saying bot buying from the Wizard episodes. I don't think that'll take us very long. So I think a good quick thing to swing around to is we'll go ahead and, from a player perspective, log into the system from the mobile UI in a phone-based format and try to hit up some key operations and see what does that actually look like. How does that work? We'll see how it goes. Okay, so if we head over to location now. Oh, are you kidding me? We've worked on this project enough that I think I've already forgotten what we've done. I mean, I'll take an easy win if it really is that easy. Okay. So we've got a purchase workflow here that calls location management to purchase whether or not it's basic. Let's go take a look here. Okay, so we ask them what kind of location they want to buy, and then based on that we do stuff. Cool. Alright, well, if we go look here, bam. Okay. Now I'm not sure what's up with the number series failure there, so let's take a look. What just happened there? Is there something wrong with the number series setup for this location? How did that get reset, I wonder? Because we have used 3. Okay. Let's go fix that. Last number used. I don't know how that got mangled. I probably cleared it as part of testing somewhere along the way. I think I had to clear some of the info out when I copied it over to our master company. Didn't really think about then using this company for testing after that. That's fine. Makes sense. Okay, so we buy a location. Cool. I guess then the only real follow-up here is, do we charge anything for these location acquisitions? I don't think we do. So, I mean, our location card's looking good. That's cool. We do not. Okay. And we also don't tell the player if they have enough for that purchase, and we don't have a framework for what does the cost of those locations. I think for developmental simplicity and hit the milestones here of what we're trying to achieve, I think that we should keep this nice and simple and just have locations cost just money, and that can come from the game setup. And then we can present that in the choice list for our players when that pops up to say, do you want a basic? It costs this much. So let's keep that nice and simple from how we're going to do things. And we will, we've got 47 for advanced stuff. We have 44. So yeah, let's just create some new basic little decimals for the cache of how much our basic location cost. Yeah. The basic location price. Sure. And we'll copy that down. And we only will need the price info. 44. I'm trying to squeeze in a field, and right there in front of me is the number I'm trying to squeeze in. Brilliant. Okay. Rather than clear that out, let's copy that up here. We're going to make that 41 and 42. Why not? And we'll copy over some of our other settings. Basic location price. Cool. And our advanced location price. Simple enough. And now we use our wonderful, wonderful World of Wizards to add a new field here after the actually before the basic location maximums. Let's add the basic price. Ta-da. And same here for the advanced. Boop. There we go. Cool. Alright. Get out of here, permission set. I do not want to look at you today. Anymore. Okay. Cool. So that's pretty good. Now, we want to do our location purchase. Why is that? This location management code unit is hiding under our bots folder. Ugh. Okay, I'll look into that. But not right now. Alright, so we need the location open and we need our location list open. Now, I did a thing here that I'm not a fan of in general. We've got some UI stuff here built into the logic on the page, but on the flip side, it is part of interacting with the user. So I'm gonna leave the question stuff all happening here on the location list. I'm okay with that, I guess, for now, but it does mean that we need game setup to be game setup, sure. Because what I'm thinking is we should clean up our options here where we've got basic and advanced. We should show the user the price for each, and I'm not going to do a fancy like pre-check. If they pick advanced and they don't have the money, I'd rather throw the error after they click OK, and that's all right. So we'll put the actual cash check into the location management code unit, but we should present the prices. Price flat and nice and simple. Now it's going to make our string menu call here a little ugly because we do need to do a string subst on our tokens, but that's okay. Game setup dot basic location price. I like so much sometimes that we can ignore white space and just kind of cruise down to a new line. That is one of the small perks of the language. Okay, game setup dot advanced location price. Now at the moment in my current game those are 0, so it'll show, if I were to publish this and click OK, they're gonna just show up as 0, and the player can enjoy the free purchase. It's not free with purchase, it's just free. Okay. Now we are going to need in our flow of things, we're going to need to check if the player has the resources for this, and also potentially charge them, which is not in our player management. There is a separate little code unit for this buried here. Player charge. This will allow us to charge cash, right? Yep, that's perfectly fine. But we also need to be able to calculate, do we have the requirements, which we have logic around that in our bot system. Resource check buffer table. Where's our resource check code unit? Is it? And this is an example of, on my roadmap is the refactor day, because I should have absolutely done the workflow where a code unit is a job. Because here we've got this like generate requirements buffer that does all these steps. We could potentially handle that a little easier, but nope. Yeah, this generates requirement buffer is just sitting inside of bot management, and that's not great. Okay, well, anyways, so the way that we are doing this is we just do a GL account to get the cash account, calculate the balance, and then check against what the requirement is. So we'll steal this code over into our location list, which now we're really getting into the should not. So we're gonna probably end up refactoring this as part of our refactor day, but today we want to make it work. We need GL account. Because after all, why not do podges? Oh man, I am doing this in the page, and I should be doing this in location management. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we need to grab the GL account, grab the balance of our cash account, and then if So here we're already calling get number before we even check the cash balance, so that's no good. Let's move that down here, and here we will do the we need a label. Yep. Insufficient funds error. Sure. We don't support overdraft fees. Alrighty. So with that in place, then we can do a simple if we're buying a basic location, then if the GL account balance is less than the game setup location price, then error are insufficient funds. Woo. A lot of times I will give more information in an error message, like for example, display to the user how much cash they have. But if they don't have enough cash, it's pretty straightforward. There's just one GL account that could possibly be in the way our game is designed. So that's fine. Now here's a nice example of we've got two ifs, but we could probably structure this smarter using some ands. I'm a little brain fogged today with a headache, so I'm not going to try to get creative with that. Other things that we could do is we could use the if basic then else and assign to a temporary variable the game setup price, and then just do the price comparative once and throw the error once in a nice easy message. So there's a couple different ways we could have structured this. I don't know that there's one particular better way over the other on that one. I think that's pretty small as things go. That's fine. I think it's just a little bit confused about my changing the if-else structure. Yep, and there goes the errors. Gone. Cool. Alright, well, let's see. Oh, yeah, you know what's also good is after we've completed this transaction, charging the player. So I'm still currently at the moment doing it kind of the old way of doing a big giant long string of code and noting what the general principle is. If I were to go with some of the new standards, then I would say, a function here, charge the player and pass the amount. So I think, yeah, we'll do it. Sure, why not? Given that, why don't we refactor that a little bit already and say amount to charge is a decimal. Now I can think of a case where it's better to do one way or the other. So we're going to scrap this little chunk of code real quick. We're going to say if basic, then amount to charge equals game setup dot basic location price, else amount to charge equals game setup dot advanced location price. Now amount to charge is the same regardless of what's what, so we can now just throw the error once and say amount to charge. And now later on in the code we don't have to wonder what the amount should be. We don't have to do the if parameters ever again. So now we can just say amount to charge. And I'm inclined to give the player a little extra info about, the charge for what was this for. So I'm going to pass the location. And now we do our delightful create procedure. Now we've got a charge the player function. Yay! So we know that we've already got a player charge code unit. So that's as straightforward as that. And it's as easy as player charge.charge cash, which we take which account, the charge amount, charge account. Oh, I see. Against which fixed asset account. So, like, for example, when we look at our chart of accounts, come here, chart. Which are we balancing against? So, for example, the value of our fixed assets, the location should go up. So, if we charge 10,000 per basic location, then a new basic location will increase the balance of this location account. The inventory should not be here; it should be up in the inventory account. So, there were some goof ups there. Just change of design over time. So, we need the game setup again. Which I'm inclined to just pass as a parameter rather than do another get. Yep. Just to minimize how many times we're doing get against the same record. We could also have moved that up to a global variable. So, could go either way, really. There's no extra harm here to doing it this way. So, charge cash, and then I don't think on game setup we have a GL account pointer for the value of the warehouse. Cash account. We have a location power account, but not a location asset, tangible asset account. So this is going to get a to-do. Which this weekend I think will be my big to-do cleanup push, so I will probably have a time lapse next week, because I would like version 0.1 to be something that people could download, play with, and start doing test data generation with, because it's kind of cool to be able to just create like 1,000 sales transactions in a short period of time, or even more. So I will probably end up doing a separate little instructional video of how to install and configure this, and then how to use it to generate test data. But we need to GL account for the fixed asset for a location value. Sure. And our current list on that is 1420. Sure. Cool. So 1420. We're hard coding. Yay. The amount to charge, and then this is just the doc number and posting description. Now the doc number is location.code. Whoa. Snippet's gone mad. And location charge token. There we go. And the document number already contains the location code, so it doesn't make any sense in the world to repeat it in the description. So we will, in fact, just do location charge code token. There we go. And that's it. Charge the player. Cool. So, yep, we'll need to fix the hard coding there, but let's test it out. Let's do a publish and get this on out there. We'll buy a new basic location and hopefully see a charge for that. We will go set a value first on that table, because otherwise we're trying to do some silly things. Tick, 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 tick. Okay. Alrighty, so off to our game setup. Go set some prices. I have no idea. I haven't modeled any market prices, so I don't know if 1,000 is minimal for the price or if 10,000 is cheap. I don't know. We'll do 25,000. Sure. And 250,000 because it's not implemented yet. Who cares? Okay. Okay. So we'll buy a location. We see our price information come through. Nice. Okay. 25,000 for basic location. Do we get a new location and a charge for it, or do we get an error? Let's find out. Hey, we get a new location. That's cool. And the other side of this, we're already on the chart of accounts. If we drill down into our net change here on cash, and we descending this, purchase a location 0005. Nice. Okay. Alright. I mean, I'm inconsistent in my language of the bot versus location buying, but, you know, it's alright. You'll notice my posting date's not taking up. I'm willing to guess that the job queue is currently borked. Either here in the company, here in the player level or whatever have you. So it has not been ticking along for the past week or so. And I'm okay with that at the moment. So, cool. Alright, well, there we go. Let's consider that probably done. I don't have any other constraints in mind, other than what we've already done. So instead of 1 to 2 episodes, it was 1/2 an episode. Okay, cool. I like it. So some to-dos that we'll have to tidy up. Alright, let's move on to the secondary goal then, because primary goal, knocked it out. What is this experience going to be like for a player playing on mobile? Is my big wonder here. So if we look at iPhone X area, sure, why not? It's a pretty good ratio, just an example. So nice and simple, we can, as a player, see what our current wealth is the minute we log in. Now we can see if there are any bots going haywire or really something terribly gone wrong system-wise, and we also get a sense of what might be going wrong in our logistics team. I mean, realistically, both of these are just going to be indicators that the logistics bots are backed up and that we need more of them. Maybe the player needs to spread out their locations, whatever have you. And then, speaking of, we can look at our locations and go, how are we doing against, for each location, against our constraints? So this is part of why I think it's really important for players to be able to rename their locations. That way they can potentially have, a location per item. So like Fabric Central, they can see real quick at a glance, okay, in this one I've got 1700 fabric. Okay, cool. Separately, we get our item list, which is nothing fancy, nothing terrible. It's just current info. One of the things that I don't think we could do that I would like to be able to do is in this list show what the current market price is and their selling point. The problem is that the market price is something that we're calculating. And unfortunately, when we're looking at the lists like this, particularly in mobile, it relies on that brick field group. So the market value cost of items has to be stored on the field to show up in the brick. So I'm not sure there's a lot we can do with that, but from a player perspective, it's a click away. So it's okay. It's not the best. So if we look here, we can see what is the minimum sales price that we're willing to start parting with these at versus what's the market price. We can also see what our current stock is versus the maximum. Obviously, I accumulated thousands of these before I put that in. Okay. So that's okay. We definitely need to figure out, I'm presuming it's going to be more of a permission-driven thing. The player should not just be able to generate items, and that's going to go bye-bye. Okay. Ooh. What the heck? Oh, okay. Now this bot type overview, I want to say we did that as a temp table on top of a list here. Let's go down to our bot type overview. Is based off of what table? That is based off of bot instance. But that means that from a mobile UI perspective, the brick view of the bot instance table is what is going to drive which fields are going to show. And boy, ooh, that is not pretty. I mean, it's kind of interesting in a way. Hang on a sec. Let's duplicate this and go look at the list in the normal UI for a sec. So, okay. What we're theoretically wanting to show to the player is that, you know, they've got 3 sales bots and this is the total power and ops per day. There are 3 sales bots. 30 is what? Power per day. 9 ops per day. I mean, it's not the clunkiest, worst UI ever. It's not great though. One of the things I'm not a big fan of is in this UI, you just have to know what fields positionally are. There's no way for us to say show a caption for this. But we can click through and go, okay, sales bots, how are we doing? I don't know what the blank entry is. What is it? Oh, that's just part of the list here. We iterate through all the bot types and we pop them in. We should probably consider that if the bot type when we format it equals blank, because that is the case in the enum for the bot types, that we should not include that in this list. Okay, that makes sense. Sure. And we are correctly seeing that there are no inventory, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's not the worst UI. It's not the best UI. Okay. From a drill down perspective, you can't jump from here to look at your 3 sales bots, but I don't know that we can do that from here either. No. Okay. Alright. So, that's okay. And we can see theoretically where we are in the standings, which I don't have multiple player companies set up right now, so that makes sense that we wouldn't have a whole lot of info to work with. Okay. So as a player, we can see kind of what our bots are doing, what our locations have, what our item settings are, and where our standings are. So I guess the question then is, what else from a mobile perspective we need to do? We should be able to go jump off and buy new bots, so that way we know where we're standing on. Actually, if I click on this, I'm astonished that the drop down on the brick for wealth here is not net change and balance aren't in that list. You have to drill down into it, and the name isn't part of the brick. Oh man. That astounds me. That the name isn't part of the brick, but balance sheet type is. Ugh. I might go check that in the 17, since 17's in preview, and see do they still have that? Because maybe I could put in a pull request on that or something, because they're slowly encouraging us to put pull requests in against the core product, and maybe this would be an easy one to start with. Because, yeah, who the heck wouldn't want the name? Okay, alright, well, out of curiosity. Okay, just looking at how that lays out. Alright, so from a player perspective, we can see our wealth, we can see our standings, and we should add the ability to buy bots as a command type option. But, you know, we can do most of the core stuff. Okay. I guess that's pretty okay. A lot of the issues that we saw, as we were clicking through on things, there's only so much we can do about like the brick layouts and things like that. So, okay, all right. Rank 0. Shouldn't that technically say rank 1? Please hold. Snapshot, low balance. Might be that the snapshot table itself doesn't actually update. I have made changes to it since we've probably updated that snapshot capture as well. Okay, so yes, the generate daily rankings should always start at 1. It probably just hasn't run since I wrote this code last week. Okay, I'm alright with that. 8 days ago, episode 37. Wow, was 37 8 days ago? That was 3 episodes ago. Last week was crazy. Okay, cool. Alright, well then let's call that pretty good. Yeah. Alright, I've got work to do on the permissions, and I mean, that's pretty as good as we're going to get on the mobile UI for now. The only thing that we can do that'll tidy this up a little bit is I was talking about adding some actions here. And we still don't, I think we have nothing at all under the navigation area. So probably, yeah, that seems like good use of time. Don't suppose, out of curiosity, we have the roles. Breakdown, designing role centers. Cool, because I would like to make sure I'm thinking of the right names for things. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 is our guy. We want navigation bars, that makes sense. And we want some action bars, that also is good. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Navigation menus. Okay. So let's do it. Quick run through on navigation stuff. So a little bit of role center work today. Alright. Cool. So we're totally changing gears and doing something different. When you're working in production, I would normally check in these changes to say this was a location update to the purchasing flow. I just am batching these up by episode, so that way it's very easy for people looking through the commit history to go see when we made those changes. So I just figured I would clarify as to why I don't commit when we change topics. Alright, player role center. Alright, so we've got the area for role center, but we don't do anything cool with the other area options. What are our other area options? Let's check this out. Content, role center, fact boxes, sure. Alright. I think this goes under the actions control. Again, I apologize. I just don't know this area of the system very well. So, it makes sense. Okay, actions it is. I do a lot of modification work, not a lot of new role centers. So, alright. Okay. I was like, what syntactically am I massively failing at? Alright, cool. This is what I was looking for. So we've got the different area here for creation, embedding, navigation, processing, reporting, and sections. So this navigation menu, the stuff in this very tippity top, is going to be our area sections. Okay. Alright. So I'm thinking we want to see 4 sections. let's do an area sections. I believe we have to do groups here, and we will do one called bots. Sounds good. Equal bots, so we can see all bot related stuff. We'll do a group called finance, so you can potentially jump off to chart of accounts. Sure. I mean, there's not a lot that the player is going to be diving into, so we'll have to figure out what makes sense. From a navigation perspective, however, they can totally go look at all the posted purchase documents. So maybe instead of just bots, I'm just trying to think if there's anything to go under bots instead of just the list, and not really. So why don't we do this? We'll do operations and information. And that will break it out a little bit better, I think, because information, we can put places where they're going to go to parts of the system that they can see and look and learn, but not take action, whereas operations will be things like the bot list and whatnot. Okay, so I'm guessing we put an action within this. Let's see. So 1, 2. I guess we'll see. I don't know if this is where I want this to live, but we'll try it out. Caption equals bots, and action per image equals, I don't know, I don't know that we have any icons for our bots, to be honest with you. Sure, that sounds fine. Run object equals page BCS bot instance list. Sure. Let's do that, and then we'll do a quick action here for chart of accounts. Go figure that we have an option for that. Yeah, we'll just do an object equals page chart. Sure. Let's publish that and take a look at how that actually looks, because I haven't messed around with actions on the role center. I don't even know. No idea. It helps wait for the publish to go through, doesn't it? Syntax error, string literal expected. Oh yeah. Thought that publish went really fast. It did, because it failed. I don't know what value promoting things on a role center is going to be, so we'll see what the difference is with bots and chart of accounts, I guess. Okay, operation, bots, information, chart of accounts. Alright, that's pretty cool. So yeah, we'll have to flesh this out a little bit and add some different pieces there, but the most common things that players are going to go to should be that second level thing. So honestly, the bot list should really be there, and items should be there, and that's going to be this navigation bar, and that is the area embedding, which I thought, they describe it as a second level navigation. I thought that meant it would be under the navigation menus, but no, just graphically on the page it is the second level. Oh, okay. Alright, that's cool. So we have the area sections, and now we'll do area embed. So I mean, we're going to have bots under here as well. That's a little clunky. Yeah, it's going to complain because we're duplicating. Bot list, sure. And we want to have items as our next immediate thing. I did not see any difference to all this promoted stuff for the perspective of our role center, so we'll just drop that out. And image doesn't seem to matter at all as well, which makes me not at all surprised. So, because there are no images in the role center action area, so that makes perfect sense. Page item list. Cool. Okay, so there's that. And then we also have third, which is our action bar. And here we can decide create processing reporting. Okay, all right. These will, anything in the creation will automatically display with a plus icon. So that's cool. Then we have processing, which we can group together using grouping, and then last automatically generated is area reporting, and that will show with the report icon. So I'm thinking the useful thing for us to do is in the area creation, the ability to jump straight into buying a bot. That makes perfect sense to me. If we go look at the action on our bot list here, we can grab the add bot and we'll bring that down into area creation. Sure, that sounds cool. Let's try it out here. So that's interesting. In the creation functionality of things, we are not allowed to run code on a role center. We can only directly hook up to run object. So yeah, that's exciting. All right. The simple way to fix this is to have a code unit with an on run, and then we can just reference that code unit, and there we go. So we're going to do a smidge of refactor, and we're going to create a BCS purchase bot, and that's it. Yep, purchase bot. Sure. And all this is going to do is a trigger for on run, and all the code does is run modal a page. That's cool. So really we don't have to go change the list page to call this code unit. We could, we don't have to. Okay, there we go. It's dumb that we have to do this, but we do. So we need that run modal to work the way it does. So there we are. If we're doing this, we might as well, after we run modal, page.run page. I don't need the parens. Page. Whoa, getting lost in all the snippets. Page BCS bot instance list. There we go. After they run the bot buying wizard from this code unit, pop open the list. And that way, when we do run object code unit, BCS purchase. There we go. Yeah. Ta-da! We got around the, we only needed to call a little bit of code from the role center. Can we just do that? No. No, we cannot. Okay, fine. And we'll do an on-run code unit and we'll just call that. Silly, a little bit, but that's what we gotta do. Okay, whip. Cool. Alright. I mean, this kind of looks a little silly just hanging out there by itself, so we might need to think about how that might land in some other interfaces and whatnot. Out of curiosity, speaking of which, if we go to Biggening and phone here, how does that look for our player now that we've got some more pieces to the World Center? Okay, not significantly different. That makes sense. But we do have this little list button here that drops us to those bot lists. Okay, that's cool. And then here on the Role Center, when we hit ... we get by bot. Okay, that's just under a heading new document, which I don't think we can change that caption. Okay. All right. Okay. Is there anything else, just from a tightening up perspective, that we should tackle right this second? I don't think so. That's cool to know we can do HTML-based control add-ins. I mean, I've done that in other places. I just didn't know we could do that on the Role Center. Cool. All right. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah. There's going to be probably some more pieces of info we should add to a few other places, but, the players can still totally find the posted sales invoices and go look at all of their transactional documents and everything, which, quite a bit there. So yeah, information, I'm thinking I'll add stuff like customers, vendors, prospects, let them kind of go see all that info. So I'll think about what we need to have living up there between now and next episode. That'll be good. I might cut today a little bit short just from there are a bunch of other things to get working on perspective. But I think we can call this mostly good. We just need to finish up cleaning up some of the Role Center actions and add a little bit more to these menus so that they, make some sense. And now at least we can kind of see some explore. That's cool. Okay. Yep. Possibly as soon as before next episode, I may come in. I may go through the database and clean out the testing companies and just have it be our BC master data. I might even go ahead and delete Chronos. No, I'll leave BC and Chronos. I will clean those out and we will generate a new company from scratch and see what I've missed in our setup. And then we'll see. I've got a big pile of to-do of things that need to be pushed into game setup. If I just look here, inventory setup driven. So here's another account that's hard-coded. GL account for fixed asset, the one we just did. So I will probably go through and tidy up all of these game setup setting things real soon. And we will also potentially create a config package for all of our master setup and everything like that so that people can try this out. I'll be real curious to see if anyone uses this for creating demonstration data, for example, since after all the random name pool is something that you can populate with more realistic customer names if you want, and generate some customers and vendors from these. Yeah, that'd be cool. And it is time for me to get cracking on our master item list. I really need to make this a proper thing. For our version 1 testing, it's no big deal because these are the 6 items. That is pretty much it. So that's okay. So yeah, we'll talk tomorrow about in version 1 what research is going to be included in here. And I'm thinking it will be some power improvements, some bot improvements, and maybe even we'll put a couple of items behind a research wall to make there be a little bit of a point to it. And some bits and pieces like that. And so that's going to be, I think, the focus for tomorrow. We'll swing back to research, because that was on my to-do pile. The players should be able to better see the research UI, and I want to create some eventing hook in the research stuff that when, for example, power usage, we do this get power per day. I would like there to be an on before and call on event on these things. So that way our research code units, when we enable those different researches, can modify these amounts. That'll be good. Okay. So yeah, I think that's a good plan for tomorrow. And we are pretty close to done. Or done enough to be a functional thing. So yeah, research tomorrow, and then let's see, I've lost track of what day it is. I think Friday we're gonna just generate some test companies and see how the experience goes. What do we have left? What is missing? We're closer than I thought we were, actually. That's nice. Alright, excellent. Well, thank you guys for sticking with today, and I will see you all tomorrow. And for those of you who are on YouTube and follow along, I apologize at some of the delays in uploading. There have been a lot of hiccups in my internet connection when trying to upload, and occasionally I also just fall behind. When you combine the two, sometimes that puts me 2 or 3 days behind. So never fear, they will all go up. And probably over the next couple days will be current. Yeah, thank you all for watching, and take care, everyone. Bye-bye.